Nick Williams here, and I think I'm live now. Nick Williams here, and I am going to go over selling final expense in this video. We're doing a live training here, so this is actually the first time I've done this on YouTube, so I have no idea how it's going to be presented. But again, we're going to go over selling final expense when on a Medicare appointment. This is critical that you do this in your first year. And I've got a lot of guys and women that are coming from final expense. I talked to two of them yesterday in depth, just long conversations. They're trying to make the transition. You do need to sell final expense when you're starting selling Medicare in the home. This would be face-to-face. The phone is different. So this is face-to-face sales for Medicare and then transitioning to final expense. Two things that you need to know up front. Number one, this presentation is for when you do not have a good prospect to sell Medicare to. Number two is this isn't going to happen at all if you sold somebody Medicare Advantage. Even if you've gone into that whole Medicare Advantage thing in any significant way at all, because you cannot sell Medicare Advantage and then some final expense on the same sales call. So let me turn that off. Okay. The key is not to go too far on the Medicare side. So you don't want to pitch to Medicare and then lose the sale and then say, well, maybe I'll try to sell final expense. That's not going to work because you're already a loser in their eyes. You've already failed in their eyes. So what you have to do is you have to identify whether this is a good prospect for a Medicare sale. And you'll be able to know that before you present and try to close your Medicare. And if you don't, you need more training. So you go down that road and you realize that perhaps it's their brother-in-law they bought their Medicare insurance from, and he sells Medicare. So they're happy. They're not going to change. And you don't want to sell that unless there's a mistake. I always say, unless there's a mistake, you do not want to sell Medicare to that person because it's going to go bad on you. He's going to come back and replace you. That's the way it is. If it's Medicare Advantage, he may put his name on his agent of record. So the bottom line is you don't want to make that sale. So this is one example. So what you say, and I got to get this right because I don't rehearse these things. You tell them, look, you've made a good decision. Your brother-in-law has led you in the right way, in the right direction here. Don't let anybody come here and tell you that you need to change anything. Now, I want you to know that we help people save money on all their insurances, anything, life, health, and we find that people, and again, you're going to say this in many different ways in many different conversations, but we find that people often are wasting money on old insurance policies or insurance policies that they bought that just aren't good insurance policies, like accident policies or cancer policies or old sickness policies. Some of them are just terrible, maybe even old life insurance policies. So having said that, what insurance companies are taking money out of your checking account each month now? And after you say that, you got your yellow pad, and you just put your head down and you wait. You wait. Maybe you write something at the top here while you're waiting, but you just wait. And you'll hear a little bit of hemming and hawing, and they'll say one of two things, typically. Well, just my life insurance. Well, who's that with? Oh, okay, America. And how much are you spending with them? And how much death benefit does that? You're in. Now you're talking about final expense. That's it. You are now a final expense salesman. But I want you to understand, this is not, you don't want to go, when I say you're a final expense salesman, you're not in that model where you're going out running hard and closing everything. You don't want to try to close everything in this model because I typically don't advise making tough closes, hard closes on final expense when you're a Medicare agent, because you don't want to deal with things lapsing on you. You don't want to deal with closing deals and then getting chargebacks. It's it's bad business. So I always use, certain terminology. I say, and this is a great line. I say, well, typically the people that, and I'm talking to them and, we're talking about their final expense insurance. And I say, well, typically people, they just want a respectable burial and they don't want to be a burden on their family. And that's really good word. Those are good words. Again, typically the people that I speak to, they don't want to be a burden on their family and they want a respectable burial. That's all. That's it. And I'll help you achieve that objective. So those are good words. People go, yeah, I've never had anybody go, oh, what they will say is, well, I'm just going to get cremated. And I'll say, well, even that, they're even charging money for that now. So let's, but I'm not forcing anything. So let's go back and let's go through the transition because this is important. You've got to transition. You can't go down the final expense, down the Medicare road and then say, when you can't close that or you got nothing there, well, how about your final expense? You can say that, but this way is much better because you'll get into the conversation every time and you never know what you're going to uncover. So here it is. Well, you know what? You are good where you are. Don't make a change and don't let anybody tell you to make a change. I'll let you know, like when they come out with new plans this year, or I'll keep in touch with you if the rates go through the roof, and maybe we'll talk about that another day. Having said that, and I use that phrase a lot, we want to help you with any insurances that you may have. So we often find that people are wasting money on old life insurance policies or accident policies or cancer policies or sickness policies, just policies that aren't very good. And they don't even have to be old. But so let me ask you, what insurance companies are taking money out of your checking account each month? Just put your head down and wait. And again, you'll hear some awkwardness, and then you'll hear, again, the one thing is, well, just my final expense, and then you're in. Well, who's that with? And how much you pay them each month? And you're in. That's it. So, but the other one thing you might hear is, well, I don't know. They just be like, I don't know. So what you say at that point is, well, surely you have life insurance. And they'll be like, yes. Well, who's that with? So those are your options, or those are the probable outcomes. Just my life insurance. Well, who's that with? Or they won't give you an answer and you say, well, surely you have life insurance. And they'll say, well, yeah, well, who's that with? And then you go right into it. Now you are selling final expense. And you go and you just start gathering information. Why'd you buy that is a good question. Why'd you buy that? Who's your agent? Did you like them? Have you ever heard from them? Just start asking questions. You don't need to go in and sell it right out the gate. I think people jump the gun too fast and try to do too much, too quick. But listen, I hope that helps you. And I hope this presents well, this live YouTube video. I've not done this before. So, but we're going to start doing a whole lot more of it. And I'm going to end this right now. Good, happy hunting out there and sell lots of insurance. Bye-bye.